Okay. First, my neck is okay. I just had some sort of skin irritation that I tried to cover so that I wouldn't accidentally get it infected, and then the adhesive on the band-aids messed with my skin. So that's what the redness and irritation is. Okay, so my speech will be about Autism Speaks and why it is very toxic and unhealthy toward the autistic community. So, for one, Autism Speaks believes that there should be a cure for autism, which is very offensive toward people with autism because they believe that it is a part of them. It is who they are as a person. So, actually autistic people, they do not like that. They do not agree with that, and it's just offensive to them. Autism Speaks also has a track record between videos and things that they posted, commercials and stuff, of convincing parents that it's okay to feel victimized from having an autistic child, and believing that their autistic child is somehow a burden to their life, which it's not productive, it's not helpful, it's toxic in every way you look at it. There's absolutely no way for anybody to spin that in a productive manner, in a healthy manner, and parents should never ever be convinced to feel that way about their child, no matter what. It doesn't matter the circumstances. Finally, the last thing I would like to mention is that Autism Speaks advocates for the fact that autistic people should mask their symptoms, which can have very bad effects on who they are as a person. Autism masking, is essentially becoming a different person, putting on a mask or a front out in public so that it is not obvious that you have symptoms. Which the effects can be different depending on the person, depending on their symptoms and the strategies that they use to manage their symptoms. But it's generally agreed that masking can be negative. It can give the person anxiety and depression, and it can make them feel alienated from their peers. It can make them feel as if they're lying to everybody. And it can even give them physical and mental health problems in the future. Depending on the person, one person could be totally okay with masking for a few hours, while another person could be wiped out for weeks from masking for a few hours. So it really depends on the person, but overall it is agreed that masking is a negative thing. It's not healthy for someone to do. I'd also like to bring up the fact that Autism Speaks has absolutely no autistic people within their organization at all. No autistic people. None. They're supposed to represent autistic people, but they don't have any autistic people anywhere within their organization. Not a single one. And in the past, the autistic people that have been allowed to join ended up resigning, and they will very gladly say, well, not gladly because it's unfortunate, but they will openly say that they resigned because Autism Speaks it was that toxic. It just wasn't worth trying to be productive within Autism Speaks because their mission is not to be productive. Autistic people also do not like the usage of the puzzle piece because they don't like the idea that they are somehow a mystery or a problem to be solved, because they're not. Literally just ask an autistic person what it's like to have autism and they'll no longer be a mystery. And instead of using the puzzle piece, a popular symbol has been slowly gaining traction, which hopefully society will pick up on very soon. It is an infinity symbol, a rainbow infinity symbol. Along that line of talking, also lighted up blue it's not good. Red instead. Now, my sources for these were spectrum.org, which Spectrum was what I went to look for some of the effects of masking, which has a personal account. They talk to someone personally who has autism, who was diagnosed at the age of 40, and talked about her experiences with masking. And later on in the article, they talked to a professional about it, somebody who has done research, a licensed professional. I also used I did not write down the source for the organizations that I looked up, which was very not good of me, but alternative organizations to look for would be the ORA, which is the Organization for Autism Research. It is a national organization which is science-based. It looks into social, educational, and treatment concerns for autistic people. And they also have a lot of very good programs for autistic adults so that they will have an easier time in society. Another organization to look into is the Autism Society of America, which basically, to put it simply, it offers guidance, whether you have autism or somebody in your life has autism, or you're just looking to know more about autism. It helps you find therapists, support groups, and various appointments like doctor's appointments and physicals and stuff like that, because unfortunately, the medical field still has a lot of stigma around autistic people and how to treat them. Now, my personal experience with autism, I have a few family members. I have one family member who has autism and another family who has a severe mental condition. He is legally retarded. He was medically diagnosed as that. And growing up around these people, they're amazing human beings. They're phenomenal people. They have their obvious quirks. They both do. They have their obvious episodes and states of mind and stuff. But despite that, they're amazing people to know. They're amazing people to be around. So just keep in mind that, Autism Speaks. It is not toxic. It in no way whatsoever represents autistic people, or should represent their parents. Plus, if you think about it, it's not that hard to ask an autistic person what it's like being autistic compared to going to an organization that has no autistic people within its ranks. And in the past, autistic people have had to leave due to stigma and toxicity and abuse and things along those lines. I hope this information was useful. I hope it helped you realize some of the stigma around autism and some of the reasons why Autism Speaks is actually very toxic toward the autistic community.